Merry Christmas, everybody! How you guys doing? I'm doing great. My name is 16 Bichum, and let's check out things that I bought or found in the last couple of weeks. Looking at the floor here, it's pretty awesome. First up, this is for my buddy Martin. It's Lucas Macintosh Archives Volume 2. Sadly, the Dark Forces disc is missing, but otherwise, it's all the other games are included. Honestly, you don't find many Macintosh games out here in Belgium. My dad had a Macintosh when I was a kid, and I actually remember this set. It was super expensive for me. I think it was like 50 euros or something, which is, all things considered, for 5 games pretty cheap, but back then it was like insane. So yeah, I don't collect PC software, but I do look out for my friends. I already filmed this in the car, but it was too dark, too grainy. Finally found a movie, a DVD that I want in one of these cases. As you know, normally by now DVDs are pretty standard, the cases. But in the beginning there were a lot of different cases, and this was one of them. Probably always used by Columbia TriStar. It's like a big jewel case. Later on, you saw like, at least here in Europe, you saw like music movies or concert movies in boxes like this, but generally you didn't see them a lot. So, and most of the time when I find a movie in a case like this, it's always a shitty movie. Well, not per se shitty, but one I don't want to watch. I got a lot of video games, but let's get the vinyl out of the way first. First up, Nation of Language. Strange Disciple. I bought this as a Christmas gift for myself, 24 euros on Amazon. One of my favorite bands at the moment. They're like 80s post-punk new wavy, and they do the synth sound, the synth pop sound perfect in my opinion. I love them. Nation of Language. And then this I found Saturday together with that Macintosh game pack. Also, I don't know if you ever saw this TV show, The Singing Detective. It's pretty epic. I really want to rewatch it. I have the DVDs. I even have the soundtrack on CD. Now I found a vinyl for 2 euros. Can't complain. It's all classic, like songs from the 1930s. So pretty awesome stuff. All very known songs. So you won't find any gems in there. And then Friday, before Christmas, I was out and about at the thrift. And I was checking out some vinyl, listening to if it was something I would like. But it was all crap. And the guy who gave me some awesome finds last time, who works there, said, well, I'm just going to put out this vinyl. Check it out. And I already saw some covers and I was like, holy shit. So these are perfect conditioned. I mean, I don't think the person who owned them ever played these, or at least wrinkled the covers. Lou Reed, Rock and Roll Animal from the 70s, perfectly conditioned. This one is the worst condition. Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. It has some like spine on top of damage, and there's a scratch here, but the vinyl itself is also pristine. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Deja Vu. Awesome vinyl. Also Minty Fresh. And then Neil Young, Decade. This is like a collector album, I suppose. I'm not 100% sure, because Neil Young made a lot of stuff. And I think my parents actually have this one. And it's 3 vinyl, so the other ones were all 2 euros. This one was 6, because you pay by the vinyl. But in this case, I didn't complain, because holy shit, amazing stuff. I don't know if you guys watch the channel Curiosity Incorporated, which is a guy from Canada who used to have like a second-hand vintage store, and he films his adventures. He also restores like vintage cars, which is not my thing, but I like to watch it, how it's done. And I got hooked on his channel 2 or 3 years ago when he bought actually a hoarder's house that was filled to the brim with stuff. And not only did they clear out the house and sold all the stuff or donated it or whatever, but he also renovated the house completely and then first rented it out and then sold it out. There was also a famous artist, well, famous, not that famous, an artist living there in the 70s. Well, just until she died, of course. So that was also an interesting aspect of the story. And also, you might know or not know, here in Belgium, when we get snow, it's maximum for a couple of days, and it's, well, -2 or 3. And over there, naturally, it was like -20 or something. And for me, it's very interesting to see a house that's completely out and about in the cold being renovated. So recently, he picked up a trailer filled with retro games, retro toys, and like vintage computers mostly. And I saw the videos, and he said, well, everything's being auctioned off by Kastner Auctions, like some online auction house in Canada. Well, not only online, but also offline, of course. And I bid it on some lots, mostly because everything went quite expensive, until I realized this is Canadian dollar, which is much lower than US dollar. So it wasn't that expensive, actually. But yeah, I was not feeling buying a lot of stuff at the moment. You know how it goes. And I just won one lot for €8. So it was like 10 Canadian dollars or something. And it was a lot of Intellivision games, which you barely find here in Europe. I don't know, it didn't sell well here. You just don't see them a lot. And if you see them, they're, well, too expensive for my taste, at least. I paid €8 for this, but there was €30 shipping, of course, and then another €30 of import taxes. So that was not cool. Any case, I got 2 or 3 games that I really wanted, and the rest are all games I already have, of course, naturally. Tron Deadly Discs didn't have this one yet, so it comes with the overlay for the controllers and the manual, so that's cool. This is definitely gonna go in the collection. Another game that I really wanted, sadly some dog chew at the, I don't know, corner here, back in the 80s, Night Stalker. It does come with its overlays, but sadly it does not come with the manual. It does have the cartridge, so Night Stalker. And then I thought I didn't have this one, but apparently I did. I do still have to check my copies if they're complete as this, but Lock and Chase, Astro Smash, and Space War, I believe. Wait, maybe this is a different game? No, Space Battle. No, I think it's the same. I think I already have this one. In any case, I tried to flip this one for the last 3 years or something for €10. So the doubles, I probably get stuck with them for a long while. But hey, I supported the YouTube channel that I watched, which gave me hours of pleasure over the last couple of years, so that's okay. So my lonely Christmas gift that I had to buy myself, of course, because my parents are not gonna get me King of Fighters 13 Global Match. This is the last 2D King of Fighters game, and they gave it an update, mainly rollback netcode, so you can play online, which is pretty cool. And I picked out the Switch version because normally I prefer PS4 games, but I can play a match or two in bed before I go to bed. And yeah, for that, a Switch cartridge is of course perfect. And then the big video game stack. As you know or don't know, I sold a lot of stuff over the Christmas period, mainly Playmobil, which I used to collect as well. And I got some games online through Remembo, which is a lovely site. Most of you are probably familiar with the concept. You buy a game on Auctions Yahoo in Japan, and they handle the inland shipping and then the shipping to your final destination, meaning in my case, Belgium. The reason why I prefer Remembo is because you can combine packages any way you want, and you can also change the invoices, which is naturally interesting for taxes. Also, I don't know, maybe others do this as well. They offer FedEx, which I prefer. For example, this package, I assembled it on the 24th December, and it was here from Japan the 28th. So, and I do feel that FedEx has pretty decent rates. So the one that triggered this package, because the thing is, when you buy one game, it's not really worth it cost-wise, so it's better to buy like 4 or 5 games, so the total cost makes it worthwhile. So I actually didn't know about this game until a couple of years ago. Of course, I'm familiar with the series, but I didn't know there was a Golden Axe 3 released in Japan. I know you have Golden Axe 2, 1, The Duel on Saturn, Revenge of Death Adder, I believe, that stayed in the arcades only. But you also have a third one in Japan. I absolutely had no idea. This one is pretty expensive online if you go to eBay. I think you're looking at like 200 euros shipped to your door. And I paid 85 euros. It's a copy with bidding on Auctions Yahoo. It's it's minty as fuck. I hope the cartridge is also, yep, because these Japanese cartridges tend to have the lettering peel off. It looks perfect. Naturally, insert scratches, but I'm not that anal. So paid 85 for this, and then a day later, another game which I've been eyeing for a long time. One of the last cheap Neo Geo games. Sadly, over the last couple of years, I started collecting Neo Geo in 2018, and I think you could easily then find a perfect copy of this game for 150. Now it's minimum 250, and I saw a copy for this game for 150. Well, it was bidding, but I bidded it up until 150. The reason why things are going cheap in Japan is also because the yen is really low at the moment. So I got myself a copy of the King of Monsters 2. I already have the original game, which is not that great. It's like a monster wrestling game. And this is more like a side-scrolling beat-em-up. I was playing it with my son earlier, and it's fun. It's really good. It's an awesome game. It's funny graphics. Shame they didn't get like an official Godzilla license, because that would have been awesome. But sadly, I didn't look at the auction close enough, and the box was completely torn. So the box was like this. I said, fuck. And it's really annoying when Neo Geo boxes get ripped like this, because I mean, the cases, they are really insanely large, so it's nigh impossible to get a replacement for this. So I picked up another copy of Samurai Showdown. I paid 30 euros for this, which is super cheap, and the case was in excellent condition, so I just swapped out games with King of Monsters. And I'm very sure I can flip this for, well, I'm going to try 50 euros, but I'll at least get 40 euros for it. And then I even make a little profit. So it's pretty nice. This one, sadly, I mean, my copy of Samurai Showdown has also, I think all Samurai Showdown games have this wrinkled back cover, but this cartridge looks much cleaner than my own cartridge, so I probably gonna swap out the cartridges. Need to check if the manual is in better condition, and then I'm gonna sell this one off and actually have a small profit. And I'm pretty glad it doesn't have a manual, but King of Monsters is, I didn't know, I never played it before, but it's an awesome game. And as been talking here, as some of you might know, I had a pretty sizable game collection, which I sold off some parts in 2006 because I was a poor student back then, and I was very much getting into Lego, collecting Lego trains, and I needed the cashish to buy the Lego sets. So I start selling off some games. And one of the games I really regret selling is Lattice on the PS1, which is a tunnel shooter. Yeah, it looks like this. And I thought it's probably a really expensive game these days, but absolutely not. It set me back 14 euros. I think my copy was a little different. My copy was back in the day in a slimline case, so probably a later release. But this game was, I think, also only 15 euros at launch. So it's definitely a budget title. But I do love these. There's a lot of super lovely early PS1 games that are just amazing. That's like Lattice, Slap Happy Rhythm Busters, awesome fighting game, cel shaded. Pepsi Man is another one of those titles that's just insane. Things like that have never been done again, sadly. But Lattice, awesome one to check out, and apparently also still super cheap. Another one I got was, I'm trying to get all the Saturn shooters that I want. I've been on a Saturn kick lately. I already had a lot of shooters, but I've only just recently started playing them. And this is one of those I did not yet have. Sadly, they replaced the case, so it's not an original Saturn case. It's still a solid case. Most of these more modern cases are like really cheaply made, but this one looks perfect. The disc is perfect. Spine is missing, but honestly, who cares about spine cards? I certainly don't. So yeah, Lattice, I believe, yeah, Lattice has its spine card in there. So yeah, an awesome set of 4 games, well 5 if you count the Sam Show that I just bought to swap out the case. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this week's month's pickup, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas, which is already past, of course, but a Happy New Year, and I hope you find luck and happiness in 2024 and a lot of awesome pickups. Catch you guys later. Bye.